Children are increasingly being targeted in war. Leila Zerougi, the Special Representative for Children in Armed Conflict, told the Security Council that hundreds of children have been killed in Iraq, Syria and Gaza this summer alone.
We cannot afford impunity in the face of such grave violations of international law that in some cases may amount to war crimes.
As Cuban doctors headed to West Africa to support Ebola care, the UN Special Representative in Liberia warned that the situation is getting more complex.
What we mustn't forget is that there are other crises lurking in the shadow of Ebola. The regular health system has collapsed, bringing the potential for other health problems in its wake. The economy has suffered significantly. There are food shortages being reported and increased food prices in the country.
The global financial crisis devastated economies 6 years ago. As families and governments continue to struggle, the world economy still has not found a sustainable growth path, according to the UN Conference on Trade and Development.
For us, a world of happy bankers, footloose corporations and stressed out households is a world that can be neither sustainable or inclusive. And if we continue with the kinds of policies that we've seen, particularly in the advanced countries over the last few years, then that is the world that will continue. And it's a world that will produce booms and busts.
In a spot of good news, the Earth's protective ozone layer is on track to recover by the middle of the century, says the UN Environmental Agency. But there is no room for complacency. Unified action is needed if the impact of climate change is to be reversed.
If we act now in understanding the connection between ozone and climate action, we can avoid a major problem.
Secretary General Ban Ki-moon will host a climate summit later this month in New York. There are hundreds of thousands of children working in Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. Hard physical labor is not only exhausting, it can damage a child's development.
When I work in the field, sometimes I have to squat for a long time, and after a while, my legs start to hurt, and it's impossible to stand up again.
The International Labour Organization is helping change attitudes about child labor.
I started looking at this issue differently. A child should not work, he should study. Our children should not be working.
World leaders will descend on UN headquarters in a few weeks. Meanwhile, New Zealand All Blacks rugby players Ryan Crotty and Victor Vito came to the UN, partnering with UNICEF to improve the lives of children around the world.
Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
Sport is essential to the health, happiness, and well-being of children. It can also be used as a powerful tool to teach young people strong values and important life skills.
You may not realise it, but a lot of the kids do look up to us, so it's really important the way we conduct ourselves and the way things, you know, we might spend time with the kids when we talk to them, just how influential the things you say or how you conduct yourself are. So, man, if we can be a positive role model to, geez, just a handful of kids.